First thing, if you're going to animate stuff and bring it into PowerPoint, one of the handiest things to do is just to change the background so that it's white. So just go to background up here and go to plain white. It gives you a much cleaner input into PowerPoint. So start off by just picking a kind of an appropriate view. So something like that maybe. So again, just hit the wheel of the mouse to kind of allow you to just maneuver it like so. And then over here in our motion study tab, you can have your assembly, so orientation and camera. If you right click on the key here, go replace key, and that updates it. So you have each diamond here represents either your view or your individual parts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the drawing so that some parts are going to be visible, and then we're going to have them fade in over time. So let's look at that. Say for our guy here, our cone, we're going to start him off by so that he's going to actually be faded out. So right click on him here. This is our part cone. This is our diamond relating to that cone. So right click on him, and I'm just going to go to hide. So he's hidden there, and right click, replace the key, just to update it. That's updating the key, so that's your standard. It's going to do the same with click cone 1. So again, right click on him, hide him, and there's a key. Right click, replace the key, or so, yeah, replace key. So that's updated like so. I'm going to do the same with the plane. So there's the oblique plane. Right click, hide, and replace key. So there's my 3 things like that. I'm then going to go and I'm going to move my timeline along. So for 1 second here, I don't want anything to happen. You don't want it to move straight into the animation straight off the bat. You want to give yourself space between each thing so that when you hit play, it gives you enough time to pause the thing and talk about it. So this is our guy. We don't want anything to happen for the first thing, so I'm going to take my orientation key here, move it along for 1 second. So there's no change here, but it just gives us a space. Then at that point, I want cone 1 to appear. So if we look at the key here, cone 1, I'm just going to push control for copy, keep it held. I'm going to just move that guy out. Oh, it's after copying this guy here as well. Just delete him. So from this point here, cone 1, nothing happens from here to here. And from here, over this 1 second of time, so I'm moving my timeline along. Over this second here, I want that guy to appear. So I'm going to, in cone 1, I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to right click. And you see if I move up or down, I'm selecting cone 2 here, cone 1. So make sure you're selecting the right area. Right click, I'm going to place a key. So this key here, I want to have appeared. So this guy is key 1, where nothing has happened. He's hidden. This key, I want it to transition and appear. So cone 2, or cone 1 should say, right click, show. And you can see this purple line here indicates that SolidWorks is filling in that. Just double check just to make sure, so replace the key just to make sure that's captured. And you can see if I go to the calculate button here, calculate, he fades in. That's what I want to do there. I'm going to wait a space of a second. I'm going to do the same then with my cone 2. So I'm going to right click, place a key, and then over the next second, I'm going to have another key, and I'm going to have him show. Right click, show. Again, there's my transition. They're going to do the same, so space of a second. I'm going to have place for my oblique plane, place key, right click, place another key. So the first one where nothing has happened, and then the transition here, I'm going to show him as well. Right click, show like that. Oh, I hate when that happens. Sometimes when you bring in something that's transparent, it comes in and it's solid. It loses the transparency for it, which is a bit of a pain. But what you can do is, if you go here to oblique plane and just select it, you can just actually go to it should be able to change transparency. So that actually should, like that, yeah. And just make sure that's updated. Replace key. So that's our guide that. So that's just things appearing. So calculate that. So cone 1 appears, cone 2 appears, and then our plane appears, like so. Now we want to say, well, what we would do in a question like that, you might want to take an auxiliary, getting an edge view of the plane. So we want to change our orientation. So I'm going to give a space of a second. I'm going to actually just move this guy up here. So there's my camera and my orientation is as he is here. No change up to this point here. And from this point here, over my second, I want it to move into a new position. I want to look at that object into a new direction. So I'm going to move my timeline along. I'm going to just control and copy him, so there he is there. So I want this to change from here to here. And all you do is basically move your object around into your position. If you have a view already saved, and you can do that by, if you want to have, say, a plane or something like that, you can, do we have that here? You could actually have a view already saved, where you can actually be looking in it at your edge. I'm just going to, for the moment, you just orientate it roughly. So there is our guy like that. Yeah, so that's, I want it to move into that position, right click, replace key. So, and then that's the animation finished. I'm happy with that. I'm going to give a space then so it doesn't just cut out straight away. I'm just going to copy this guy and just, there we go. So this is the end of the animation. So I'm going to be happy enough with that. Let's just have a look at what happens. So from the start, 1, 2, 3. So you mean it's going to, one thing has happened, then number 2, and then you're going to move into a position like that. So it will fill in the thing. So you're just basically saying, I want to start here, finish here. I want to start hidden. I want the thing to appear. I want to start in this viewing orientation. I want it to move into this viewing orientation. So, and that's when we take our auxiliary. This is why we take our auxiliary, where it cuts solid. So we can see the plane as an edge. There's a horizontal trace seen as a point. So once we do that, we can then record it. So save animation. Oh, sorry, cancel that. Before you save your animation, just make it as big as you can by just moving everything out of the way, like so. So it just makes this a bit bigger, so that means when it records it, it's going to be full size as opposed to just small little image. So save animation. So give it a name, Microsoft AV file. So that's grand. Don't need to worry about that. Your frames per second, you want to go 15. If you go 7.5, it's going to be, tick 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 tick. It's going to be very kind of stuttery. 15 is pretty much kind of general animation standards. 15 seconds per frames per second is what the eye can see. Any more than that, you're just getting it with a massive file size, and it's not very, you're not gaining any advantage to it. So 15 frames a second. Everything else really is pretty much, and you want it. I'm going to go to save. What I do is I generally tend to go to full frames, or actually Microsoft Video 1 I find comes in very nicely into PowerPoint. So Microsoft Video 1, compression quality 100%. You can untick that and just go to OK. So the motion study out of date, do you want to recalculate? That's just saying, do you want the computer to refresh it before as it goes? Yes, I do. And it's, you can see along the bottom here, it's actually just recording it tick, 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 1 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's actually literally going through each individual piece and saving them and recording it. So it's recording that there now. Now it's recorded. So recording it like that. She should have it recorded. I don't know where she saved it to. Where did I save it to? Should I just hit it again here just to see where it saves it to. So so it's actually saved it into the proper folder. Thank God. So if we look into our sample folder, sample animation, there you can see I now have an AVI file open with Windows Media Player. So that's my guy like that. That's everything that I need, everything that I want. She'll move into place like that. So happy days. Let's go back into our PowerPoint file and bring it into that. So just get rid of these. So I go to Insert, and I go to Video on my PC, and I just find the folder that it's in. So that's on the desktop. Sample animation, assembly for animation, insert. And now because I saved it as a Microsoft object, it wants to know, do I want to convert it? You actually do that, yeah. So so you just need to give it a couple of seconds just to kind of take care of itself there. So there it is, inserted in like so. You can see I can hit play and it'll do it. Now for some reason, and I don't know why it does it, but you see the way the background, maybe you can't see it there from on the screen, but the background kind of turns a kind of a funny kind of pinkish kind of colour. The way to get rid of that is if you right click on it and go to Format Video, you can just increase the brightness by a couple of percent. So even if you just go 3 or 4%, it makes the background white, so that you can have it behind other objects. You can also double tap on the object and crop it exactly the same way you'd crop an image. So I don't want to have that the full size like that, so I can crop it down like that and make it a bit smaller. So there she is like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can animate it in the exact same way that if I want this to be appear in front of this guy here, I can, I want it to appear on a click. I can go into animation and I can just add him so that he fades in whenever I want it. So you don't have to have it on screen at all times. But there you go. So if I hit present, when I browse over the object itself, you will get your little tab at that. So you can either hit play or you can just drag the timeline like that. I find it easier to drag the timeline because it gives you a bit more control. You're not trying to click pause at the appropriate time. So there's our guy like that. And now you have your, you can have that with your 2D, your 3D. So you have the ability to have your regular kind of 3D static where you can bring in things and you can animate it with your 2D, and now you have your ability to have your video, so if you need to move into a new position, look at an edge here or look at a new particular position. And to be honest, between those two things here and with your 2D, like, that's pretty much the mainstay of everything that I've ever done with kind of videos. Like, you can pretty much, there's nothing you can't do with that. And yeah, that's